What's up guys, ProdiJay here and welcome to episode 9 of Setup Tour Showdown, where I review the setups you guys sent me and give my feedback. And if you want to submit your setup for the series, you can find a submission guide video down below. Now for today's setups, they're from Connor, Alex, Brendan, Ethan, and Thomas. Thank you for submissions guys, as I very much appreciate it, but without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now starting off, we got Connor from New Jersey. He's 13 years old and uses his setup for gaming, but he also mentioned that he will start video editing when he gets a new computer. But getting to the equipment, he has a 24-inch LG TV for his laptop display, and then a 22-inch Scepter monitor for his Xbox One X. As for his peripherals, he's actually using a Dell keyboard and mouse combo that he found laying around in his house, which is actually a good way to save money at 13 years old. And when it comes to audio, he has some Turtle Beach Recons that he got from Walmart. Now that's all the information he gave besides the RGB lights that he got for his desk, but let's talk about the setup as a whole, starting off with the cable management, which is pretty bad. Despite not really having too many things in the setup, there's tons of cords everywhere, and it's obvious that Connor didn't attempt to cable manage it at all. Which, if you had to ask for my personal opinion, I would most likely recommend reorganizing the cords so they're not tangled, and get a cable sleeve or even get a cable rack to put underneath the desk. And although the equipment is kinda on the budget side, the setup is pretty okay for a 13-year-old, but I would like to see an upgrade for a better quality desk along with a new PC when he gets it. Up next, we got Alex from Minnesota. He's 14 and uses his setup for gaming and streaming, but getting to the equipment, he has two 24-inch 144Hz MSI monitors, and for peripherals, he has the SteelSeries Apex 5 keyboard along with the Razer Mamba wireless mouse on an Inferior Keys Koi mousepad. And for audio, he has a Fifine T669 for his microphone, which appears to be on a boom arm spray painted white, and then uses the Corsair Void Pro as his headset. And holding up all his equipment is an IKEA Linmont with an Alex drawer stand. And for his chair, he's using one of Ewin's racing chairs that's red. But after going over all the equipment, it's time for the PC specs. And as of specs, he's rocking an RTX 2060, a Ryzen 5 2600, 16GB of Crucial Ballistics RAM, a 120GB SSD, and a 1TB hard drive all inside the dark flash case. Now, although the specs are decent, I'm not really a fan of the color scheme going on inside the PC, as he's using some red and black cable extensions inside a white and black themed case, which I guess he was trying to go for a red, white, black theme for the whole setup when it comes to his headset and in his chair, but thing is, it's quite hard to use 3 colors in a setup and have it look quite good. But in this case, I kind of find this overall color scheme kind of confusing. But now moving on to the cable management, it's actually quite neat and organized, and with the way the cords are positioned, I think he did a pretty good job with what he had, which if I had to recommend anything, I would probably recommend getting a cable box along with some cable sleeves if you wanted to make the cords disappear. But besides the cable management, I think Alex did a good job with his setup, but I would recommend improving the color scheme. Up next, we got Brendan from Connecticut. He's 14 and uses this setup for gaming, streaming, and schoolwork. But getting to the equipment, he has a dual monitor setup with one curved 24-inch Scepter monitor and one 22-inch monitor from Element. For peripherals, he has the RK61 with Gatoron Brown switches, and for the mouse, he has the Logitech G502 Hero. And finally for audio, he has a Stealth 600s from Turtle Beach. Now, looking at the equipment so far, it's pretty alright, but nothing too special. But the one thing that does look interesting to me is the makeshift wrist rest for his keyboard, which I'm pretty sure is made out of Legos, which in my opinion, I really like it when people find creative ways to make do with what they got, because in the end, you're saving money. Now, as of right now, Brendan does not have a desktop PC, but instead a simple laptop using a Ryzen 3 APU, which powers his left monitor, while its right one is powered by his Xbox. So hopefully in the future, he will be able to save enough money for a desktop PC. But now moving on to the cable management, similar to the last setup, it's quite well managed, and I could be super picky about it, but with the way the power surge is, this was probably the best way he could set it up. But now let's talk about the setup overall. I actually really like how he went with the green and white theme, especially with the custom desk, as the brown kind of helps bring everything together and kind of stands out with the white accents from his console and his keyboard. Though I'm not too sure about the game covers on the wall, which that's pretty much personal preference. But I do love how he displays some of his tech on the wall along with his Nerf guns, as it does help add a bit of personality into the setup. But the thing that I don't like about the overall setup is the fact that his shoes and stuff are on the floor right next to the setup, which they should be put up in a closet or somewhere else. But nevertheless, I like the color scheme going on in Brendan's setup, and hopefully he saves up for a PC. Now near the end, we got Ethan from Scotland. He's 14 and uses this setup mostly for gaming and schoolwork. But first look at the setup, we can see that he's rocking a red and black theme with a bunch of team merch in the background for a football team, I believe. Now he's using a single Asus monitor for his display, Red Dragon K551 as his keyboard, and a gaming mouse from Havoc. And in terms of audio, he has the Corsair HS35 as his headset and uses the GS520 speakers from Red Dragon. plugin. And if you're curious about his desk, he's using an IKEA lid mount with addo legs. And similar to the last setup, he has a laptop as his PC, but he did mention that he's gonna buy a PC and a larger desk on his birthday. But now for the cable management, it's really good as everything's out of sight and out of mind, plus it's quite neatly organized, so I definitely give him props for that. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about the setup overall. Now, I do like how he has the red and black theme going on for the setup, nice lighting and etc, but I can't help but feel super claustrophobic looking at the pictures, mostly for the fact that his whole room is full of banners and other items. Now, although it's good to show off your hobbies and show off things you like in your room, I think it's important to not overdo it per se. And I know some people may disagree, but for me, I kind of wish there was maybe some space on the wall or whatever. Also, the pillow in the chair has to go because it just looks disgusting. And I would just recommend getting an actual chair pillow or cushion. But overall, in terms of the setup, I do like the color scheme and cable management, but I would possibly recommend turning down the decorations in the room by a notch or so. Mostly because it feels super confined with everything on the walls, but that's just my personal opinion. And then last but not least, we got Thomas from Ireland. He's 14 and uses his setup for editing videos, streaming, and gaming. But straight into the setup, he's using a single 24-inch 75Hz monitor from LG, uses a Logitech ProdiJay keyboard along with a wireless mouse from Acer. And for audio, he uses JVC maroon headphones. And holding up all his equipment is the IKEA Mickey desk with shelves, which I like how he utilized the shelves with different tech, but I'm not a fan of the headphones being stored on the top right corner. Also, if you can see, he has two cameras, with them being the GoPro Hero 6 and the Canon PowerShot, along with a ring light that he uses for his streams. But now, let's talk about his PC. As a specs, he has the GTX 1650, an i5-9400 clocked at 4GHz, 16GB of RAM, and then he has a 256GB SSD and a 1TB hard drive all inside a Dell Inspiron case. And with those specs, he said that he gets about 100 FPS on high settings for most games. So as a specs, they're pretty alright, but I guess I would recommend maybe getting a new case for your next PC upgrade just to make it look cooler. And now moving on to the cable management, is quite good as he hides them in the cable rack underneath his desk so you can barely see any cords. Though I'm not a fan of all the cables from his headset and mouse right next to the setup, which speaking of that area, you gotta clear your school stuff from there just because you gotta keep the area around your gaming setup clean. But looking at the setup overall, I do like how it's simple but not too bland with the tech on the shelves. But I think that you should possibly upgrade your desk to a slightly bigger one without shelves up top and instead install shelves on the wall for a cleaner, more open look because the desk does seem kind of confined. But besides that, I think the setup is alright, but it could possibly use a certain color scheme to make it stand out more. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for episode 9 of Setup Tour Showdown. And I want to say thanks again to everyone featured in this episode because this video wouldn't be up without you guys. And if you want to submit your setups to be featured in this series, be sure to watch my submission guide video in the description to learn how you can enter. But I think that's gonna wrap it up, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, drop a like and subscribe for more quality content like this because I do love making videos like this one. Also, comment down below what you liked or disliked about the setups and tell me which one was your favorite, as I know everyone's gonna have their own opinions on the matter. So make sure you leave your thoughts down below. Also, if you love the content on my channel, then I would highly recommend following me on TikTok as I post daily videos on there similar to what I post on YouTube, including some memes. So if you'd like to see daily content from me, I would highly recommend checking out my TikTok. But anyways guys, thanks for watching and be sure to have notifications on so you won't miss any of my videos. My name's ProdiJay, and as always, stay classy.